Okay, everybody, we thought we'd put this video together for your trip to South Africa. A lot of people, we book a lot of hunts for people into Africa, and we've been doing a bunch of group hunts and stuff here. Twice. This will be the second group hunt we have. We have a group of 10 coming up in July that we're going to the Karoo. And anyway, the paperwork sometimes is kind of daunting, but mainly it affects your guns. It doesn't affect everything else you do. Your passports and stuff like that are common. And but there's just a few little tips we want to give you on this part of it. And we don't know if these videos are going to be 2 of them or 3 of them or 4 or whatever, because we don't know how long they're going to take. And we don't want to make 2.5-hour video on how to get your stuff together to go to Africa. So anyway, we'll see how it ends up. I'm hoping I can get it done in 2, maybe 3, and we'll go from there. So first thing I want to talk about is your outfitter. How did you get to Africa hunting? Did you go through a booking agent? Did you get an auction hunt at a Safari Club International or a NRA banquet, or did you just decide one day, woke up in bed, said, I want to go to Africa, and you just looked around until you found somebody to show, whatever. But what you want to really watch when you book a hunt to Africa is the opinions that you get on how to select the right outfitter. Yeah. The first thing that every single person I've ever booked into Africa, and the first thing that a person that's ever been to Africa for the first time, what they say is, this is the best outfit in Africa. I'll never go anywhere else. I'm going to go back and I'm going to hunt with them. Yep. Problem with that opinion is it only encompasses one outfitter. Right. You have nothing to compare that to. So take somebody's opinion on going to Africa with their outfitter we went on this hunt. It was a good time. Right. Take that opinion, but take it for what it is. Now seek out somebody that's been there 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 times. Ask them what their opinion is. They're going to be more involved talking to you about it because they're going to know what you want to hunt, what kind of a hunt you're looking for, what do you want to hunt, and things like that. But you want to make sure that the person you're getting information from has been to multiple outfitters. I also know of people that have been to Africa 4 or 5 times and been with the same outfitter every single time. Yep. They're happy. You may not be happy going there. There may be something that goes on at that camp that you don't like. You may not like the hunting situation, but they're totally happy. So be sure and don't just compare it to somebody that's been to one place. Make sure you have somebody that's been to multiple places to Africa. And I'm not saying that in a good way or a bad way, because a lot of guys go to Africa and they go to a great outfitter the first time around, and it isn't going to get any better. I mean, you're completely happy, and it's a good deal. So you're not going to have to worry about that. But just take that opinion easy and talk to as many people. Before we booked the hunt where we're going this time in the Karoo, I emailed 71 people that had been there, and I had one bad result out of the 71, which it was a result between both of them. It was a hunter problem and an outfitter problem, and they didn't meet in the middle on it, and so they both got mad at each other. Or one of them got mad anyway at the outfitter. So anyway, you want to be careful when you're doing it. Get as many opinions as you can. Find out how long that outfitter's been there. And there's things that come into hunting Africa that are also funny as far as what the outfitter has for property. Some outfitters in Africa don't have any property. They have maybe 500 or 1,000 acres or something. You might hunt that, but now you have to go an hour over here to go hunting. You got to go 2 hours over here to go hunting. You got to go 4 hours over here to go hunting. Some people like that. Some people like to go see different parts of Africa. They want to hunt different terrain. And we did that in 2017. Yeah. We saw the way from hunting stuff looked like the Idaho desert clear up to mountains in the Salmon River in Idaho. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was fantastic. Yeah, we enjoyed it. It was. But it does take time away from your hunt. Right. You're traveling 2 hours over and 2 hours back. That's 4 hours out of your day, and you're paying for that day to go hunting. Yeah. And if you have a real heavy load that you're wanting to shoot in Africa, that's going to interfere with that a little bit. So you want to make sure that it's what you want to do. The place we're going this time has 112,000 acres total. And so it's not like we're not going to, if we do travel somewhere, it might be a half hour, an hour. And there's 10 of us going, so we may have to split up a little more because make sure we don't run into each other or whatever. And we were fine with both ways. But we have some friends that went to Africa twice, and their thing was, we want to travel. We don't want to just stay in one camp and go hunting on the same road every day. We want to be on a different road. We want to go somewhere else every day. And they're kind of a cool couple because I think when they went to Mozambique buffalo hunting, they were, I think they were like almost 70 years old. And they got to where they could hike and run 10 miles a day just for this hunt. Because the outfitter told them to be in shape. And then they got there and the outfitter was nowhere close to the shape that they were in. They were waiting on them all the time. And so that's just kind of funny. So be sure that you can talk to these guys. If you can go to a show and talk to your outfitter that you want to book with, you can get a lot of insight going one-on-one with somebody and talking to them. You can get a lot of feeling for who that person is and how they operate and how their structure is on everything. And anyway, that's just kind of, we just want to throw that out there a little bit for doing your hunt to Africa and how to pick an outfitter. And believe me, that's just the surface of the water for picking an African outfitter. There are literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them. But just be sure you know what you want for your hunt. Be sure that you can get that from the guy you're going with. Be sure it's a price point you can afford. And don't fall for we have a 5-star lodge. Everybody in Africa has a 5-star lodge. And me personally, we don't care if there's crystal chandeliers and white tablecloths and crystal glass to drink out of.
Rather not have it.
Yeah, rather not have it. Yes, exactly. Rather not have that. We kind of like the rustic. We have done that. We've eliminated that outfitters when we went to Namibia. We eliminated a couple of outfitters because they had no lodge and no real camp thing. They just had like a house. It's like you coming to my house and staying here and then we go hunting during the day. And we wanted the African experience. We wanted the thatched hut and, we wanted that kind of thing.
We did.
So anyway, just keep that in mind. And then it helps a lot too because there's guys that are, there's some taxidermists that deal really heavy in Africa. We're one of them. We deal in a lot of African work a year from a lot of different outfitters and we hear everything. So your taxidermist may be a good connection if he's Africa heavy on his workload. He may be a good resource for you. And but then again, make sure he's not just pushing you to one outfitter. Make sure he has an opinion about several of them and knows what he's talking about. And that way you can get to Africa, enjoy your time, and just cover your bases all you could. And I'm horrible about that. I'm horrible about details, and you'll find that out here in a minute with this paperwork. I'm horrible about the details of things. And so I want everything to be just so. And sometimes that kind of gets in my way. I want things to go exactly this way, and they don't go that way. And the last thing we can tell you is, and this is one of the things Diane says all the time, is that it's an adventure. If you miss a flight, your bag gets lost, your gun's not sighted in when you get there, you can't find the animal that you really wanted the worst, whatever the situation is, you're hung up somewhere, whatever the deal is.
It's all an adventure. It's fun, no matter what.
Even if you got to rebook a flight, it's not fun standing in line for 2 hours trying to rebook a flight, get something done, and it's an adventure. If you walk up there with a smile on your face and it's an adventure, your life's going to be a whole lot easier, and so is everybody else's around you. And I'm one that has a tendency on flights and things to get irritated quick. My pressure point hits really fast with why are we doing this? And but anyway, that's kind of the deal. And then the only other thing I'll tell you is when you book your airfare to Africa, we like to book it as much in advance as we can. A lot of guys say, why would you do that? I am doing that because you can book your dates 10 months? 11 months.
11 months.
11 months in advance of your return date from when you're going to be on your hunt. If that makes sense.
Yes, that's true.
So what happens is we start looking as soon as we can. I mean, it's the day we start looking. And we go through a travel agent. I have gone to Africa a couple times without a travel agent. Didn't really have any problems. It's a hair cheaper. But we have had a couple of hang-ups in Africa with airfare that we called our travel agent, and they got us out of that trouble. So anyway, you can do that however you like to. And just remember, one thing we learned on a flight going to Africa years ago was that if you book your flight through Expedia or Travel Velocity or one of those right there, if that plane gets full, and somebody like us comes along and you're on the plane and we're late for our plane or whatever, and this actually happened. We showed up late. They had the door shut on the airplane and our flight was behind getting there. And so when we got there, it was closed up and they're going. The gal says, no, you can't go. You've missed your flight. Well, we had a little bit of a layover coming up before we headed into Africa. This was in Denver, I believe. And anyway, what happened was we told the gal, well, you know, we've got an international flight. We have to be on it. We can't, if we miss an international flight, this whole thing with a 10-day hunt's gone. We're not going to be able, by the time we get to Africa 5 days later, we've got a 5-day hunt. And she said, the first thing she said, how did you book your airfare? And I said, we booked it through a travel agent. Let me see your paperwork. We showed her the paperwork. She says, hold on. They went down, opened that plane up, and pulled off 5 people that had been on Travel Velocity or one of those and kicked them all off the plane. And then here we came. So it's kind of a funny thing. I don't know if they still do that or not, but that did actually happen to us that time. And that's all I can tell you is a travel agent can be helpful. We use one, well, actually we use Gracie Travel most of the time. I've used Travel with Guns. I've used Gracie Travel, and the rest of the stuff we did ourselves. Yeah. But I like Gracie Travel because they have people on the ground in Johannesburg, South Africa. Yeah. They have people in that airport. And if you have an issue, they can take care of it right there. And then they clear our guns. They book our overnight stay if we got to go to the Afton House, the City Lodge, or wherever we got to go, wherever we're going to be. And so they take care of that. So that's a good thing to remember. And we also hire a I don't know what you call them, a concierge service to pick us up right off the plane and haul us around. We could walk around the airport in Johannesburg blind, unless they've changed it in the last couple of years. But we could walk around that place blind and get to where we're going to go. But you know what? These guys get you through immigration. Immigration can be a holdup. We were stuck in 2015 in immigration for over 3 hours.
Oh yeah, about 3 hours.
We got off of a flight that was 15 and a half hours long with Delta, and we stood in the immigration line for about three and a half hours. That was miserable. And so then we learned to hire these concierge services. The one we use most time is Bid Air. And anyway, it's $90 right now, currently in 2022, it's $90 for 4 people. And so it's less than 25 bucks a piece. And anyway, when you go to immigration, they've got a special little line they haul you up to. And I don't think we've ever been in line 15 minutes, have we?
No, not even.
Not even 15. And then they pass us off to the guys at Gracie Travel. Gracie Travel takes us up, does our gun work in the police station. And then they haul us down and we get our baggage and all that stuff. And then they go to the gun station. And then they haul us to, if we're going to City Lodge or if we're going to meet somebody to go to the Afton House or the Africa Sky House or whatever, they'll haul you to that person. And then when you go to get back on a plane in the morning, they're going to meet you again to go get on your next flight to go to a different country or a different part of the thing. Because the crew, we have to stay overnight in Johannesburg. Right. Then we got to fly to Port Elizabeth. Yeah. And so there's an overnight stay. We have to stay at City Lodge, and they just make it all easier. I know this is long and boring, but it's kind of stuff that's important if you're really serious about making your life easy going to Africa. And we're going to cover everything. We're going to cover paperwork. We're going to cover your carry-on bag, your check bags, and your guns and ammo. Mm-hmm. And we're going to cover that all in hopefully 2 videos, maybe 3 videos. So let's get on to why we started this whole thing anyway, and I got off on the outfitters. What you want to do is of course, when you go to a foreign country, you want to make sure you have a passport. Africa is no different. And most foreign countries, your passport has to be good 6 months from your return date. So if you're going to go to Africa in June and your passport expires in July, they're not going to let you in the country because they consider that an expired passport. Right. So be sure your passport's up to date and has more than 6 months left on it to be valid after you return. Mm-hmm. And that's just one thing you want to make sure. And we have a little passport wallet we put it in because I have a heck of a time keeping track of this in this big old floppy bag, wallet, I guess you'd say. And you can put other things in it. You can put your ID in it, plane tickets, all that kind of stuff. Driver's license, whatever you want to do. Yep, it's kind of handy that way. And so that's what we do for passports. Anything else on the passports? Now I like shirts. I like my stuff in shirts. Yeah. Diane likes them in cargo pants. And we'll cover that in the packing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, you need your passport. One of the things that we also do, I should say now, is that when we go, we make a color copy of our passport on photo paper. So it looks kind of like the real deal. And we take that. We also take a cell phone photo of that passport. In case something ever happened. I don't know if that gets you out of trouble or not. I have no idea. But it's better than walking up and say, I lost my passport. Yeah. And you can walk up and say, I lost my passport, but I do have a copy of it. If you want to go by that, maybe you can maybe you can work it out and get out of I don't know what would happen if you showed up to leave Africa without a passport. You're not going to get in without it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but you're not gonna leave probably with, I don't know how I don't know how that would work out. So anyway, I copy that, and I have a color copy for her and me both, and both of us do. I carry one of yours and you carry one of mine, and we have two. I have two on me, one of you and me, and you have one of you and me. And so we have it doubled up on. The next thing I do is whatever airlines I'm flying, if it's Delta, United, Emirates, we've flown all them. South African Air, when they were still in business, we flew South African Air. I get on their line online, and I print off their rules and regulations for hunters, guns, baggage weights, how many bags you can have, and all that information, so that if I have an issue, and we have had an issue here and there, when you go up to somebody checking you in and they say, no, you can't do that, then I can get this out, and I highlight it in yellow. And anyway, I get the yellow on there. That way, if somebody says, no, you can't have 2 bags. Yeah, I can. Your paperwork right here off your website says I can have 2 bags. So you want to make sure you have that. And that's again where a travel agent's handy.
Yes.
Because they'll tell you what the laws are for your baggage. They'll tell you what the rules are for the airline with the and as opposed to how many bags you get, what they can weigh, what your guns can be, how much your ammo can be. Your travel agent will help you with that. Yes, a travel agent's going to cost you $200, $300 extra over your tickets.
It will.
But anyway,
it's worth it.
It's worth it to me. It's just, and I've got a friend that won't even book it because he says they're worthless, and to him, they've never done a thing for him but screw him. So I screw him up. So I guess I wouldn't use them either. We have personally never had that problem. We've never had a travel agent screw us up. I had a problem with here a few years ago that we had some booking issues with. It was not a problem on the long run, but we just had when we were booking the ticket, we had an issue. And but anyway, I make sure I have the airline regulations, and then what I do is I go to TSA. I go to their website, and I print off their information that tells you can have 3 ounces in a baggie, or you can have whatever. And they will also their stuff will also tell you other things you can do as opposed to not taking a gun as taking a gun. If you're taking a gun, you must do this, and you must do that, and you must do this. And so I make sure I have them. I make sure I have all the TSA stuff also, and I also put these little tabs on them. So if I'm standing in a line, I just go through my tabs. Okay, here's the information I need. The next thing I have is paperwork from my travel agent, which sometimes can be 4 or 5 or 6 pages long. And a lot of them will tell you exactly what to do. Go to this, go to there, go to here, go to here. That's found over here. Be sure you're here before you do this. And that's kind of handy from a travel agent. You just got to look at the next line where you're at, get off the plane. Okay, now what do we do? Yeah. And so that can kind of be helpful too and they will send you that. They send you that information. Then I actually go to federal law as it pertains to flying, and we'll get in this on the gun part because there's a lot of confusion, especially on a couple of African forums, and you'll get 100 people and they'll have 100 opinions on what you're supposed to do with locking your luggage or not locking your luggage and how you're supposed to do it. Yep. There's no gray line. It is right there. It tells you exactly what you have to do. There's no gray line about you don't have to lock this. And a lot of people say, well, I've done it. I've got away with it. You may have got away with it. That don't mean you're going to get away with it. That don't mean, and I wouldn't get away with it. 100 people before me get away with something. If I came through, they'd burn me, and they'd nail me up at the cross. I get patted down more than any person in the world. Diane got it once. I thought it was kind of funny. Once. I even got it 3 times on one trip. So that kind of tells you. But anyway, that's federal paperwork that tells me what the laws are with flying with firearms and having firearms in airports and stuff. And then the gun part will cover that more in detail. And then if you're taking a gun with you, you have to have this form here is a 4457. And what it is a certificate of registration for personal effects taken abroad. That's what this is. It's not a gun form. It can be your gun. And when you get to Africa, they kind of get the idea that this is a license to own a gun. And it's not what it is at all. And so the thing about this form is, and we'll cover it more in detail later when we do the gun stuff, but it has to have the right dates on it, and you have to have copies of it and things like that. But we'll cover that too. But that's a 4457. And you're going to have a couple of copies of that. But like I say, we'll cover that a little later. Now, the next form, if you are taking a gun into South Africa, you're going to have this form here. This is a SAPS 520. That's a South African police station 520. It's 8 pages long, and it has to do about you, your life, where you're born, your mother, your dog, your kids, the milk money you stole from the milk gal in high school. You know, it's going to have all that stuff on it. Thing about having somebody else clear your guns for you, it's 145.
I think so.
Something like 145, 150 bucks to have somebody clear your gun, pre-clear it. They do all this work on this form for you except for 2 pages or 2 places on 2 pages. And then you have to also, with this form, have other things that go with it, stuff from the outfitter, your itinerary from your tickets, and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, in the gun part, we'll cover that more. But you have to have that 520 if you're going to take a gun into Africa. And after that, it's just a matter of South African rules. I have printed all the South African rules that they want for what the rules and regulations are. Most of these pertain to guns and ammo, but most of them, I don't think there's anything on there that's really doesn't. It's mostly guns and temporary paperwork if you're going to blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's pretty much just all it is just gun stuff. But I make sure I have all that stuff with me. And is there anything I'm forgetting to cover for?
I don't think so.
I think that's about all the paperwork you're going to have. And this is just South Africa.
Right.
This is not Namibia. This is not Zimbabwe. This is not Mozambique. This is not Tanzania. Right. So that's where a travel agent also comes in handy. If you're going somewhere else, they know what form you need to get your gun into Tanzania. They know what you got to do. Some places you got to pay to take your ammo in. Some places you got to pay for your gun to go in. And so they know all that kind of stuff. And your outfitter knows it too. Your outfitter should have a big list, or on his website he should have something that says this is what you got to do to get a gun into South Africa, and where you got to go and how you got to do it.
Right. So
communication is key. And I'm one of the ones that starts feeling bad. I started emailing an outfitter so often and so much that I'm like, man, I'm bugging this guy to death. Yeah. You know what? It's what they do for a living. They may not like it any better than I do, but I got to have some of that information when I'm going to go to Africa. Yep. But make sure you know when you're going, and then transiting Africa. I guess we could do this in the gun part, but transiting South Africa, if you're going to Namibia, like we did the one year, we had to fly into South Africa. So we flew into South Africa, and we had to clear our guns because we're staying overnight.
Right.
If you're transiting, you don't have to. If you stay overnight, you have to take possession of your gun, have a 520, go to the police station, and do that. But anyway, we'll cover, like I say, we'll cover that a little bit heavier. So I think that's all we have on the basic paperwork of getting yourself into Africa, and just cover your bases. Duplicate stuff. I make some of this stuff for her bag. I make all this stuff for my bag. Copies of her stuff in mine. Copies of my stuff in hers. That way, if something happens, we're doubled up on the stuff to do.
Right.
And so for now, I guess enjoy everything wild.